Welcome to my November 2024 update on the latest current account news and special offers here in the UK. Let's kick off with the switch-in deals. They're always the ones that are most popular, right? I have covered all of these in separate videos on the YouTube channel and in separate articles over on becleverwithyourcash.com. So I won't go into all the details right now, but I'll just cover which ones are available in case you are able to take advantage of them. Highest paying one is from Lloyds Bank, £200 for opening up and switching into a Club Lloyds current account. You can also take advantage there of the lifestyle benefit, they call it. So it's either a free cinema tickets or free Disney Plus with ads or free magazine subscription. So that's an extra get, plus a 6.25% paying regular saver. So it's a good little package overall to be going for. The next one is £180 from Natwest. This one you get with the reward account, which, although you've got to pay a fee with that and work a few things out, potentially could give you another 36 quid a year if you keep going with that. Plus, there is a 6.17% paying regular saver there, which actually isn't too bad compared to the others, because although the rate is great, but not as good as the others, this one doesn't stop after a year. So you can keep putting money into it year after year after year, up to £5,000. So over time, could be a really good earner for you. Then there is Nationwide with a £175 offer. They also have a regular saver. That one's worth 6.5%, but you can pay a little bit less into that. But still not a bad bundle. Plus 1% cash back on your spending for the first year. Although, as I covered when I talked about this account separately, I still think you're better off using the cash back from the likes of Chase or the Amex Nectar card. But if you don't want to faff around with lots of accounts and you want Nationwide, then that isn't a bad bet. Don't forget as well, with Nationwide, they will give you a switching offer for your personal account and for a joint account, which is unusual. None of the others do this. So if you're a couple, you could both switch in individual accounts into new individual Nationwide accounts, and you could switch a joint account into a new joint account as well. So potentially 3 switches on the cards there for you. Also £175 from First Direct. This one has a 7% regular saver, one of the better ones out there, probably the better paying ones out there, but no other kind of benefits really with that one. And finally, Co-op Bank has a £75 when you switch offer, and another £75 if you stick around for a time after that and follow a few other bits and pieces. So potentially 150 quid there. It's only one to go for, I would say, if you've done all the rest. But they're your switching deals for this month. Another offer to tell you about. This is one that's been around for a while. I've already covered it separately. This is a cashback card from Trading212. It's an investment app, but they also have launched earlier this year this debit card, which is linked to money you held in the uninvested cash in your account. The rate on that one at launch was 1.5% for a short space of time. They've extended it once. They've extended it twice. They've extended it again. That 1.5% rate will now last until the 1st of January 2025, whether you're a new or existing card holder. So whether you've been using it, well, you can keep doing it. If you haven't, maybe give it a go. And who knows, they might extend it again. But at the moment, from the 1st of January onwards, then it will drop down to 0.5%, which isn't very good. But it's certainly worth giving it a try. And I might actually have a look at it, because I've been using a similar rate from an offer at the start of the year with Hyperjar. That ended at the end of October. So I might give that a go, see what it's like. Get used to it, tell you more about it as well, can't I, if I'm using it on a daily basis. And the other offer to tell you about, this was going to be much better than it is. Sadly, I wrote a whole article about this in the week when this was worth a cracking £182. And I pressed publish, and about 20 minutes later, so it's complete coincidence, it's nothing to do with me publishing that article, they changed how it works, and now the most you're going to get from it over a year is 55 quid. So I'll tell you about it. It's up to you whether you think it's worth going and doing it for 55 quid. This is YouGov Connect. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you might know I've spoken about over the last few years something called YouGov Finance, which sadly ended in the spring of this year. This is basically the replacement for that. And what it is YouGov, you probably recognize the name. They pay you often for completing surveys, and you might have seen their kind of polls and stuff quoted in the press, anything from politics to popular culture. But this feature was you would share, by connecting using open banking, you would connect your current accounts, your credit cards, and your savings accounts to YouGov, and you would earn points, and those points could be transferred into money. So once you'd earned enough for 50 quid, you could cash it out. So I said, I was going to tell you all about this, be really excited, 180 quid. Now it's just £55. I should also say, I'll tell you a bit more about it in a second, but I should also say, this is still in trial. Not everyone will have access. Although they started inviting people in August, I only got invited in the beginning of October. But certainly worth checking your emails if you've had YouGov before, particularly if you've had YouGov Finance. If not, and you are interested, it's worth signing up. I've seen some people say in our community that they've completed 3 surveys and then suddenly been invited to do it. So if you want to do it, do that. And if not, if that doesn't work, you still sign up for an account, and maybe when it does come along, you can take advantage. But effectively what you do now is you can link up to 3 current accounts or credit cards. They've just got rid of the ability to add a savings account. So you can add 3. And if you do that via open banking, that connection will last for 90 days and you'll earn 5 points per account per day. After 90 days, you're going to have to renew it. So I would put a note in your calendar, a reminder to do that, because if you don't do it, then you'll be losing some points during those days where it's not connected. And you keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that. And over the year, you'll get enough points to say it'll be worth about 55 quid. So roughly, you'll be able to cash out after about 11 months, roughly. That's when it's going to work out doing that. Again, full guide over on becleveryourcash.com if you want to read more about it. What I should say, if you did take advantage of it before the rule change happened and you have already connected 10 of your accounts, you can keep connecting them, reconnect them, give them permission again to keep doing that. So you will still be able to continue to get that higher amount of money. But yeah, sadly, it was really excited to tell you about it. And sadly, it's not so good now. But 55 quid for sharing your data, you might think that's not so much of a bad thing. Obviously, then the data you give them, it will be anonymized, but they will sell it on to places and use that for things. So, you might want to think a little bit about letting people have access to that. Of course, if you do have multiple current accounts, like I've suggested you do for a number of reasons, then maybe you can connect accounts which aren't your main accounts. So they don't see all of your banking data. However, there is a rule with this one, which you didn't have with YouGov Finance, is they have to have at least one transaction every 30 days. So potentially you can just set up a standing order to go into those accounts if they are more dormant ones for £1 and cycle that round. Potentially you could connect 3 different Chase accounts and not connect anything there, which aren't your main accounts. Although obviously they're doing this to get your data, and if most people are doing it, there's no data coming through, then they may well change the terms again. They are the offers. Let's quickly look at the news, a few things to share with you. And this is a really interesting one. This is the first one of these we've had for a while. I think maybe the last new current account we had was possibly Crew. This is from Zopa. Now, you might recognize the name Zopa. They are mainly a savings provider, although previously they also had a credit card. But they are trialing in beta at the moment a new current account via their app. Not everyone's going to have access to this, but if you already have a Zopa account and have opened up a savings account with them, it's worth logging in and seeing if you have the potential to do that. If not, maybe open up a savings account now and see if you do get offered the opportunity to join this account. Now, the features are relatively limited right now. So for example, you can't set up standing orders, you can't have your salary paid in. Those things will come, but at the moment you can't do those. But the benefits is where this is interesting. Now, one of them, when I first saw this, I thought, oh, this sounds good. But when you look into it a little bit more, it's maybe not as amazing. But this is 2% cash back on direct debits paid out of the account. Now, that sounds great, right? But there is a limit. And I first saw this, up to £1,500. Well, okay, so the £1,500 of direct debits every month, 2% on that, if you have, that's a lot of money to be having going out of direct debits every month. But you had that, potentially 30 quid a month, which is pretty good. Even if it was half of that, it still would add up over the year to a tasty amount. But that £1,500 cap is over a year in direct debit. So my bills right now, currently sitting in the Santander account, earning cash back there, they're about, I don't know, £500 or £600 a month, those key kind of bills. So within 3 months, I already would maxed out the cash back on this and wouldn't reset for another 12 months. So I certainly don't think if you're going to give this a go in beta, or if this feature continues, obviously when it does launch properly, I'll do a proper review. But I wouldn't be moving over your direct debits from those bill paying accounts. But it might be useful for any additional direct debits you have. So for example, you might have a gym membership or other subscriptions. Remember, direct debits are different to long card payment, continuous payment authority payments. So that's important. But any of those direct debits you have over a year, maybe they will add up to that £1,500 and you'll get that 2% cash back. It's only 30 quid, but it's certainly worth a look. What's not clear yet is whether direct debits to pay off credit cards are included, because that might be a nice little hack around it. But again, we're not talking about huge amounts of money. The other two, and I am going to do a savings update next week as well, so I'll mention it again then, but very quickly, this is where it is maybe a little bit more interesting. There is 7.5% paying regular saver, and you can put in £300 every month. So that would actually put it at the top of all the regular savers out there right now. So just from a savings perspective, that is definitely worth looking at this. Caveat with all of this, of course, is if you do go on this beta and new features come later on when they launch it, which are better, then you will be ruled out potentially of getting those because you've already got an account. But again, that is Zopa, so do take a look at that if that sounds good. A couple of quick things for you as well. Again, over in our Facebook community, a few of you reported that you've had issues when trying to switch from Chase to Natwest because it says you're all switching from another Natwest account, even though you're not. You're switching from Chase. And that's because their sort codes start with 60. They both start with 60. So there's something in the NatWest system that goes, computer says, no, you can't do it. Obviously, people are concerned about this because they want to get that £180 switching offer. And there's no set end date for that. It could go at any time. So they don't want to miss out. And one of the rules of the NatWest switching offer is you have to apply via the app and complete it via the app. So if you went and phoned up and tried to sort it out, it could mean you miss out on the switching deal. So I spoke to NatWest press office today, and they looked into it, and they've come back with the following quote from their spokesperson. We are aware of an issue which is preventing a small number of customers being able to take advantage of our latest switcher offer. We are working hard to fix the issue. And then they added that they hope it will be completed soon. So hopefully it won't be an issue. If you are trying to do this and meeting this problem, just keep at it, keep giving it a go. I would take some screen grabs though, with that error that comes up and proof that you're trying to do this, because if for some reason it doesn't get resolved and you do miss out on that switching cash, then you've got room there to make a complaint and hopefully not just get that switching money paid into your account, but also some compensation. What else to tell you about? A quick one here, Curve. I mean, if you've been following me for a long time, you'll know I used to be a big fan of Curve and thought it was fantastic. It has had change after change after change. I don't really know what Curve does anymore. And if I'm honest, I don't think they know either. All these change all the time. Obviously trying to make something that works, appealing to people. The latest one mainly seems to be, at the moment, just changing all the names again. But one thing they have said in this one, which is a good change, is the reversal of one which stopped you adding an unlimited number of cards. Now, it doesn't matter which tier of Curve you have, or soon at least. If it's not right now, it will be soon. Whichever tier of Curve you can have unlimited Visa and MasterCards on there, which is great. That feature where, if you want to sort of just change which one you're going to pay with before you're out and about, that will work again on all those different cards, which is great. But I still don't think it's necessarily worth going for this. I used to talk about it as a great option as a backup for when you go abroad. But if you're on the free option, and I certainly don't think you should be looking at the paid options, but if you're on the free option, there's still a £250 monthly cap on free currency conversions. Above that, you pay a fee. And even if that within that 250 quid, if you spend money or take money out of an ATM at a weekend, there's a 1.5% surcharge on that. Now, there may be other changes that come along. This might be an iteration of things. I'll obviously let you know if I do think it's worth looking at again. But for now, worth knowing about. If you're still using it, you can add more cards. A couple of quick things with apps as well. This is a useful one from Starling. They've added a new security feature. If you get a call from someone who claims to be Starling Bank, you can go into the app and they will give you a kind of a live call status. So it will say, we are on the phone to you right now, or we tried to call you, or we have never called you. So that's a really, the first one of its kind, they say. I think that's a good innovation, and maybe other ones would do that. You could check that straight away and know if there is a scammer trying to get you to access the account, or it legitimately is them. Although interestingly, this does come off the back of, in early October, Starling were fined £29 million by the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority, for failings in their screenings of applicants with sanctions or linked to crime. So obviously they've tried to sort of, it's a lot of money to be fined for these kind of these errors. And the last one, very quickly to tell you about, involves Lloyds Bank, or Lloyds actually. They've rebranded. Now it's just Lloyds, not Lloyds Bank. They've changed the look and the feel of their app. It's cleaned it up a little bit. I don't think it's that bad at all. Quite like it. They have added all my Halifax accounts automatically into there. So current accounts, savings accounts, got some savings accounts for my niece and nephew in there. They've all moved over, and it's a bit unclear what they are. So I'm going to have to do a bit of admin and rename them. But the main thing to tell you about here is a new feature called Link Pay. When I saw this was added, I got a bit excited. I thought, oh, does this mean we'll be able to use the Lloyds account and the Halifax accounts? Well, not necessarily the Halifax accounts. Use these accounts for that workaround when you're required to spend on your debit card for rewards or switching deals. Sadly, you can't, because it opens it up in your other bank's app rather than letting you put debit card payments in. But that might be useful for you. If someone owes you money, you can send that link to them and they can click it, and then they can send the cash across rather than having to enter in details and stuff. And it will be coming to Halifax and Bank of Scotland soon, the same look at, and then possibly new features on there as well. So there you go, a quick whirlwind update there on offers. If anything else comes along, I will let you know, of course. My name's Andy Webb. Thank you so much for watching. Check out these videos here for more ways to make the most of your money.